First, before we start, I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands and waters of Western Sydney. I'm currently speaking to you today from Darug country in Parramatta here. I'd also like to acknowledge all the other Western Sydney uh, language groups and clans out here, the Barramatagal and Cobbragal, Bidjigal, Darkinjung, Gundungurra and Dharawal peoples. I'd also like to acknowledge where you all are calling in from today. It's good to see everybody, so I'm sure there's a good spread across Western Sydney today. As I just mentioned before, we'll just um, do a little housekeeping. As mentioned, we are recording today's session, and that'll be shared after the event as well within this chat. Could I ask that we all just please hold our questions until the end of the presentation, and we'll open the floor up after we've finished the presentation. If you could use the raise hand function as well, which is the little hand up in the top there in the menu, or you can verbally post your questions in the chat, and we'll have somebody either monitoring that to either respond or throw to us to answer. If we don't have any questions, if we have questions that we are unable to answer today, we'll follow that up. We'll also collect them and we'll publish them on our FAQs as well. We already had a few from our first session, so we're just building those up. After today's session, we'll try and get those live for everybody to have a little squiz at. And just for accessibility and cultural safety, please just use respectful and inclusive language at all times. We're here to learn from each other and listen to each other as well as acknowledge the First Nations on the lands we meet today. If there is any cultural knowledge or stories today from any First Nations people, please ensure that you share that with permission and respect for ISIP as well. If there's any accessibility support that you need during the session, just please let us know in the chat as well. Thank you. We'll begin by, I guess, having a look at the purpose and long-term outcomes. The Western Sydney Strategic Partnership Program is here to strengthen arts and culture and the creative industries across Western Sydney. We want it to focus on building stronger partnerships and also to deliver those programs that respond to the critical needs of the region or for Western Sydney. With the key priorities, we're looking at skills development, organisational capacity building, so that's to support sustainable growth for your organisation. Audience development, we want that to increase community engagement. Partnership formation across the sectors, investment sourcing to also diversify income streams, and creative activation of spaces because we want to make arts and culture more visible and accessible for Western Sydney. And we also want to showcase Western Sydney for what we've got to offer. This program is also funded and administered by us at Create New South Wales. So it's part of the key action from the plan for the Western Sydney Arts, Culture and Creative Industries, which was launched middle of this year by the Minister out at Blacktown. With the long-term outcomes, the program we wanted to, the aims that we're looking to are to build a connected and collaborative sector through strategic partnerships, also to support the development of artistic and creative workers. We want it to enhance income streams for organisations. We also want it to increase organisational capacity, and that can be to retain staff and deliver impactful programs as well. Just some key details about the program. The Western Sydney Strategic Partnership Program, the total funding pool is 2,150,000. That's exclusive of GST, and that's for this financial year for 2025-2026. So it is a quick turnaround, but we have to work within that financial period to get this program out to everybody. There's no cap as well, so applicants can also propose programs of any scale. It's totally up to you. The total amount there is there. For delivery of your activities, the delivery period is from the 1st of May 2026 to the 30th of June 2027. And you may have seen on our guidelines online, there is a co-contribution requirement. It's 50% for local government bodies, registered charities, not-for-profit organisations, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander corporations. If you're not one of those, you're in the other 80% of all other organisation types. A good way to check that is if you go into the ABN lookup, you can just Google that ABN lookup, put in your ABN, and it'll give you an entity type there as well. So you can check your entity type against one of those co-contribution requirements, and that'll let you know if you're 50% or 80%. The program timeline, expressions of interest are open now. Expressions of interest close on the 12th of December. That's not very far away. And we do understand, we do acknowledge that the short turnaround will be a little bit stressful, a bit tight for people wanting to apply as well. Give us a call if you need any support as well along the way. We're here to help you as well. And the outcomes, you'll be notified by late January 2026. And after expressions of interest, I will move on to the next stage. First of all, we'll just talk about eligibility. As per the guidelines, you must have an Australian business number or ABN, be registered for GST. Also, eligible entities include incorporated associations, registered charities, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander corporations, publicly funded research organisations, tertiary institutions, and local government bodies. With the location requirements, we've put the little map up there for Western Sydney LGAs. There are 13 there. Wherever you are today, I'm sure you can pinpoint yourself on that map to see if you're one of those that are eligible as well. Ineligible applicants are individuals, partnerships, unincorporated associations, state or federal government departments, that's accepting tertiary institutions, state cultural institutions, screen production companies or film festivals. Uh, with those, we normally refer them off to screen if you are. Um, Make sure, just a few little tips, make sure that your organization has an ABN. And as I mentioned, just check in the ABN lookup. Your organization, has it got a physical presence in one of the 13 Western Sydney LGAs as well? Um, Make sure you plan, budget carefully. Make sure you understand the 50%, 80% contributions, that you can clearly show that your organization meets the requirements, because the mix in there is cash or in-kind contributions as well. And also make sure you, I guess, align with the program objectives as well. So demonstrate how your project aligns with some of those. And those points being skills development, organizational capacity building, audience development, development of partnerships, investment sourcing, creative activation of spaces. I'm now at the right slide where I said I was going to talk about the two-stage submission. So where we currently are now is stage one. And this Western Sydney Strategic Partnerships Program is structured into two stages, basically to help us streamline the submissions and to also ensure thorough evaluation of the applications that are being submitted. With stage one, it involves submitting your expressions of interest via our Smarty Grants portal, and that closes, as I mentioned, Friday the 12th of December. We're closing that at 2 p.m., which will give us as Create staff enough time to go through the applications, make sure things are okay. If there are if there are any technical issues or anything like that, we've got some time to rectify some of that as well. Um, or if you need any assistance, we'll be, I guess, available up to that time. And also applicants must provide all requested information and supporting documentation by that time as well. Once expressions of interest are submitted, if you are successful, you move into stage two, which is the detailed application stage. And applicants at this stage, well, after EOI, if you are successful, you'll be invited to submit the detailed application in late January of 2026, which will be due approximately 6 weeks later in early March. So you've got um, a couple of weeks, 6 weeks approximately, to get your detailed application up and running. Make sure you, yeah, fill in all the required information for that. And address all the assessment criteria, include necessary attachments, and also with this as well, create New South Wales staff hope will be available to provide technical support if you have any issues with Smarty Grants, and any general guidance. You can reach out to us as well on the application process. We can't assist with any content or your strategy or anything like that. Yeah, we can just give you some general guidance. Within the expression of interest stage, there is, and I've already mentioned it before, these metrics or criteria sort of that I've mentioned across both the expression of interest and the detailed application stages. So during the expression of interest stage, you're going to address these um, and they'll be carried over into your detailed one as well. So hopefully if our system works, you won't have to fill in those details again. We've set up the system so that it carries across into the detailed section. It'll just be up to you if there are any updates. You've got the opportunity to do it there. Um, these are the four uh, key four areas that you'll be assessed on, and their alignment with focus areas and organizational capacity, partnerships and delivery methods, outcomes for participants, and budget and contributions. With the where are we? With the focus area alignment and capability, some of the things you might need to do is describe what your program or project is and why you are proposing it. Also explain how it targets one or more of the program's focus areas. Think about identifying any problems your program aims to solve and also provide evidence for that. I think that section is limited to about 300 words, but you can check on the application form on the word limit for that. With partnerships and delivery methods, also try and think about how you're going to explain the delivery of the program, how and with whom. Other things you might want to describe the current status of any partnerships, whether confirmed or negotiated or not yet confirmed. And that's something I think will come up in discussion, what that means, when you can do it and all that sort of thing. Also provide a brief program management or delivery plan. At this point as well, you've got the option to also upload letters of invitation or collaboration with the outcomes for participants. You might want to also consider outlining any intended outcomes for participants. Detail the unique value of your program for Western Sydney participants, which is very important. And also, if you do have supporting documentation or anything, any files you want to attach, there are details on the expression of interest, what you can upload. There's also a file limit, I think, 3 files you can upload, and each file must be under 25 megabytes. And preferably PDF format is a good format for us to receive. This is the timeline of activities. I sort of peppered these throughout the presentation, but it's pretty much all there. EOIs are open now. We close on the 12th of December at 2. We're currently in the expression of interest phase of this 2-stage process. And if you are successful in the EOI stage, you'll be invited to submit the detailed application in January. With the final decisions and project period, final outcomes hopefully notified in late April, so that you can get your activities up and running to get them out there within that activity period, 1st of May 2026. to 30 June 2027. That is pretty much the overview of the Western Sydney strategic program. I'm now just going to open the floor. If anybody has any questions, we can, yeah, have a little chat, have a yarn. If you don't feel like having a chat online, just please put something in the chat. If we've covered everything, yeah, that's good too. But I'm sure people have got some questions. How is everybody? Martin, how are you? Where are you? See your face, so I'm just gonna, sorry to pick on you.
No, pick on me. That's fine. I was at Western Sydney Uni the other day with you in the Whitlam Centre
Oh yes,
for the
yes,
round table,
yes, yes.
which was a
Good to
terrific
see.
event.
It was, wasn't it?
Look, I'll jump in, and I suppose it goes to the idea that the obviously time tight timelines we're working with here with the announcement in April with a May start for rollout for the project that we're considering. Um, how is it that we deal with anything that might be obviously uh, we believe in our project to the point that uh, we won't sit idly waiting for April to occur, and there will be works done prior to that. How does that fit into how we administer the budget, I suppose, or account for the budget that might be applied?
We had a similar question on Monday, I think, and it, it comes down to that flexibility sort of thing? Is that where you're sort of going?
Well,
Um,
in order to deliver what we're proposing, we wouldn't be able to have a month's lead time to get it up and running. So, and the way that our organisation works is that we'll proactively move forward, irrespective. Um,
mhm.
how does that work fit into the way the budget is allocated?
Can I jump in on this one, Michael?
Yeah, of course, Hugh. Thanks.
So the funding would only be available for costs that occur after within the project date. So obviously there's a risk there for you guys in the sense that if you aren't successful in the detailed stage, what to do then. But yeah, we can only fund activities that occur within the project period is the short of it.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. And also I want to just say as well, any questions that we have a chat about as well, we'll also capture those and include those in the FAQs as well. So
I'm
thanks,
gonna I'm
Martin,
gonna try
for
and answer some of the questions in the chat while we go as well, if we can. And any that
no
we miss,
worries.
we'll do the FAQ.
With the ones that are in the chat, Hugh, are you able to say what the
Yeah.
question is? And yeah,
Yeah, sure. Good idea. So we've got a question from Kyle, which is regarding partners. Could you give any further examples of partners with an LGA? Are individual artists considered suitable partners or are larger orgs and community organizations preferable? I'm not sure I understand the first part of that question in terms of further examples of partners with an LGA, but in terms of individual artists, I mean, generally speaking, the partnerships would be between organizations or maybe artist collectives. Artists themselves, I don't necessarily know if you would include them as a partner unless there may be situations in which that's appropriate, but in general, I would say the partnerships would be between organizations, and those, I mean, you can partner with unincorporated organizations within the program, the main thing is that the lead organizations, i.e. the ones that are applying, definitely have to be incorporated. But Kyle, feel free to reach out if you want to get more clarity on that first part. And we are also available for one-on-one discussions if there are specific questions that you want answered.
Yeah. Thank you. We've got John. Hi, John. And then after John, we've got Inara. So, John, hello.
Hi, I've actually got Jenny with me as well.
Yeah, so the question was from me. I'm Jenny Cheeseman. I just wondered if the 50 or 80% of the funding could come from multiple organisations.
So only one application. So that has to be the lead organisation.
Yep.
And then who you partner with.
Yep. And so so if we're asking for 50% or 80% or 20%, can the 50 and the 80 be made up of funding coming from multiple sources?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. Inara. Inara, you might be on mute. Oh, that's okay. We'll come back to...
Hang on, I'm off.
Oh, you're on? Okay,
yeah,
good.
Hi, sorry I'm not on video because we're in production week. We've got a show on Saturday and I'm looking extremely disheveled. So I just wanted to run by you a sort of I would actually love it if you were able to give us a case study example of how you would see this working in action. So we're a not-for-profit, small organisation. There's a potential that, so I'm going to give you an example of a scenario that I'm considering. So it's a mix of project and capacity building, in the sense there's opportunity for retention of staff, building staff within the organisation, etc. So within that grant period, is that possible to have something that's like not an annual program or delivering an annual program, but actually a specific program? And in this case, potentially a specific program with a large organisation in which they are the lead, but we're involved. So is that something that we can apply? So what I'm thinking of is, in order to participate in this project, we would have to contribute investment in the sense of rehearsals and staff and everything to get prepared for that project. And so that's what I would be looking for, some capacity building sort of funding through this grant. But we're not the lead, which is something that you mentioned a minute ago. So I just want to clarify that. But also, as part of what we might be seeking then is capacity building to specifically for a key staff member. So that would carry on for, say, the full grant period. The other project would carry on for about half the grant period. Is that something we can do?
I think you're hitting some of the priorities there. But yes, you're right in me mentioning before that the applicant has to be the lead as well. But I might ask you if you could help me out on that question.
Yeah,
but
sure.
If not, I like the idea of also providing a case study as well. That's something that we haven't considered, and I think that would be something that we could also add to our FAQs and our website as well.
The short answer, Inara, from my perspective, is that everything that you're saying seems to fit reasonably well. I do think that it'd probably be good to have a more detailed understanding of what you're proposing to confirm eligibility. But I mean, there's a important distinction between determining whether you're eligible to apply and whether your project would be competitive through the assessment. So we can obviously advise on the first thing. But in terms of providing sort of strategic advice on how competitive it's going to be, then we're not able to do that in a one-on-one session. But yeah, broadly speaking, what you're describing would fit within the eligibility for the program.
Okay, great. And when you're doing the case study, if you could also give some examples of how that 50/80 would work when we're budgeting and stuff, that would be super helpful.
Yeah, there is
time, and it's like it's a new grant and it's being tested, and there's new, like the whole thing of matched and co-contributions and percentages, it's all quite new. So having that as a guideline would be extremely helpful. Thank you.
There is in the guidelines obviously an equation to work that out, but yeah, I think having an example of that being put into practice would be good, and we'll try and get something done reasonably quickly and put up to help people inform their EOIs.
Thanks.
Yes. Are you? Yep. We've got. Oh, Inara, sorry.
No, I'm good. If I've got another one, I'll put my hand up later.
Thank you. We've got Ashley, and after Ashley, we've got Carla. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Michael.
Hi.
Thank you, Michael and Hugh, for the information today. Really appreciate it. I just wanted to ask a quick question. Earlier on, Michael, you mentioned that the focus areas. I just wanted to double check. Will the quality of the application be seen, it being better and more competitive if you are addressing more than one focus area? So, for example, I'm thinking of a project here at Fairfield that is thinking about the creative activation of spaces. However, I just wanted to double check, do you feel that the more focus areas that are being touched on in the project makes you more competitive, or is it okay just to focus on one of those ones?
I think it's up, individual preference. I don't I'm trying not to say I don't I think but no, I mean you can focus. I mean, we haven't put in the guidelines specifically that you should address all of them. They're there as guides for you to match them with the project that you are delivering. If it does, hit all those areas, that's good. If it's only hitting one, but it has a really good impact, that's really good too. It depends on what your project is and what you really want to focus on and drive and make it something that's that stands out. So try not to be, I guess, what do you call it? I don't know. Try not to be put off by those or trying to fulfill all of those, because sometimes projects can't or it's not the right direction that you want the project to go in. So focus on what really matters to your project and go with that. If it does hit all of those, that's good too. There'll be people assessing it, and what we want. There is 13 LGAs across Western Sydney, so they'll be looking at all different types of things as well. Where that spread is also. So yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate
Yeah, no
that.
worries. I hope that was
Can you see a separate
okay.
guidelines document?
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
No worries, Ashley. Carla, hello. Good to see you. You're on mute, Carla.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Hey, well done, Create team, on getting a new grant category up while mid restructure. It's excellent work. Very excited to see it. My question is around matched funding. How, I'm not quite sure how to ask it exactly, but if you are putting in an application for something new, does the match does matched funding have to exactly correlate to that new project, or can it be funding that you put into something which is very akin? So like say it's a skills development project and you already invest a certain amount. Can you go for a new skills development project but leveraging that existing investment?
I would say yes, but I'd like to throw across to Hugh just for verification.
Yeah, short answer is yes.
Ah, cool. Thanks, Hugh. And Michael.
Thanks, Hugh. Is that all Carla? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Awesome.
so.
Yeah. Okay. We've got, is it Vici?
Michael, I might jump in because Vici, hey Vici, so you've dropped a couple of
Hi.
questions in the chat. Is it okay if I just address them verbally now rather than, because
Sure,
I'm
yeah,
kind of
that's
trying to
fine.
jump between.
Yeah, go.
So, so just in terms of the question around the number of expected investments, the 2 to 3, the numbers in the, I mean, first of all, in terms of the targets, the year 1 to 3 activities in the investment fund, there's a few things there. So the investment fund overall, this program that we're talking about today is one part of the investment fund. The investment fund is actually broader. So it includes this program, a First Nations program, which will be launched early next year, and then also investment in a new Western Sydney festival, which is a whole another conversation. Those numbers are sort of a minimum expected investment. So at a minimum, this is what we would invest in. But our expectation is that the spread of investment is going to be significantly broader than those numbers. So that's the first thing. The second thing is in terms of geographic spread. This was also something that was asked in the previous session. We don't have any targets we have an isolated funding for each separate LGA, and we don't have targets in terms of geographic spread, either on an equitable basis or weighed against particular indexes. So someone has asked us, is it weighed against the CIFA index, for example? And the answer to that is no.
Yeah.
To a very large extent, this program is guided by the applications we receive. The criteria that's listed in the guidelines, that's the criteria we're using. We will obviously be looking at where things fall, but the main thing that applicants need to focus on is not whereabouts in Western Sydney they are, it's those focus areas. So that's the best place to sort of put your focus.
Yes.
Did that cover off those questions
Yeah, look,
sufficiently?
I think it's unusual to have a funding round where there's just like no, I can hear you've got no minimum maximum, but it's hard to know, like, is this a pitch for a $30,000 or a $300,000? Is it going to go to 2 orgs or 5 orgs that each put in like $1 million or a $500,000 pitch? So I think it's the scale of the vision that that it's hard. I get the feeling you have some feeling of that internally, but coming to it from outside, it's like, are you really looking for things that maybe are a bit larger scale and visionary and really will change that arts landscape in Western Sydney? Is that kind of the feel of this? Or are you interested in a whole lot of kind of quite grassroots projects that feed across several dozen arts orgs? We don't have a feeling of that, I suppose, from what you've shared.
Yeah, I can answer that too. So the short well, not short answer. I don't give short answers.
Please don't give a short answer.
Yeah. I'll give you a medium length answer. How about
Yay.
So our expectation is, well, first of all, the program is designed to capture both of those things. So if there are bigger, more visionary sort of strategic shifts for the region, if there's projects that can come through and provide those sorts of outcomes, great. That's really good. If, however, you have a couple of, smaller organizations who are like, we've identified this very particular issue. So in your case, maybe it's to do with the literature sector, support for Western Sydney writers, something. There's this strategic issue facing those communities, and we've decided to work together with this organization to try and address those in this way. There is a home for that in here as well. So the size of the budget that we have, the funding pool, is such that we feel fairly confident that we can fund a range of projects across different scales. So I know that's not a particularly satisfying answer, but it is the truth. So, that's the best I can give you.
No, I like that medium answer. And if I can just also flesh out just one little bit more, which it doesn't seem like a criteria, but it seems a really strong theme. Am I right in thinking there is a strong preference for applications that do have at least one partnership at their core, that have got a partnership element?
Yeah, look, that is it. It is a strong theme of the grant. You obviously there is no. It doesn't factor into the eligibility, like you are not ineligible if you are not applying with a partner. But it is a very strong theme, and it is obviously in the assessment criteria. So partnerships is part of the assessment criteria. So that is where you're sort of getting into the realm of like, it's eligible, you could apply. If you want to give yourself the best chance of success, then partnerships would be, strongly recommended.
For sure. Great. Well, thank you.
No worries.
Martin.
Look, that's almost a great segue into my question. One of the findings from the parliamentary inquiry into music was the establishment of strategic partnerships in Western Sydney to develop future audiences and grow that way. Have you guys got vision on what they were looking for? Is this completely separate to?
I'm not too sure about that one, Martin. I could follow that up. Are you looking at in a music sense of if?
Well, look, you've had to put up with me before. There are no future audiences without grassroots education, and that's certainly a strong bent of what we're doing, as well as supporting teaching artists and the like. Not exclusively, but that's part of the concept that we're going to bring forward. But no, I was just interested because, again, there seems to be a synergy around, there seems to be some of the same language being used. And I was just wondering whether, so that was one of the key recommendations from the inquiry, was the establishment of strategic partnerships in Western Sydney. And I was just wondering whether or not you guys are all in the same room on that.
So I can answer that one, Michael. I mean, strategic partnerships is sort of a theme across government writ large at the moment. And it's, I mean, for an organization like us, it's, we have to work with the budgets that we're given, and, and one of our key roles is trying to get, for us to be working more in partnership, and also for the sector to be working in partnership with each other more. So this program is very much around, prompting that to a fairly, explicit degree, as Vici pointed out. So there is an alignment there in a broad sense, but in terms of whether these two programs have been developed explicitly to complement each other, no, they haven't. They are somewhat separate.
Thank you.
But we recognise that there potentially is overlap there.
Awesome. Thank you, Martin. Thanks, Hugh. Inara, another question?
Yes, done. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Look, I just wanted to pick up on something that was mentioned, and I really would like to clarify this, because when I'm looking at the focus areas, which are things like skills development, organisational capacity, audience development, that to me sounds like it's still targeted to the applicant organisation for them, for example. So building that capacity building, which is separate in my mind to if you're doing a project and you're seeking outcomes that might be, for example, identifying a gap in the community that you're wanting to reach and address. They're kind of two different things to me. So where is the focus here more on? So like you hope that in building organisational capacity for yourself and being able to deliver the vast array of all the different programs that you want to do that are addressing all of those things, that's how you're going to be able to achieve that. But ultimately, I think our focus for this particular would be helping strengthen our organisation and build audiences and things, and specifically actually around strengthening those partnerships. So is that kind of, I just don't want to lose the focus on the EOI. So because I've got written down identifying, you know, sort of at the grassroots level, any sort of gaps that we may not be addressing within the community. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong too, Hugh, we had sort of, I think, a similar sort of question on Monday, and it was, where that focus sort of lies. And I think you are sort of heading in the right direction. And it came up about projects and artistic outcomes, where I don't think that's going to be more of a focus. More so, it's going to be more about the partnerships and how you're doing those together. I think that's what the question was about. So, yeah.
Okay, and okay, just one other thing too, I put in the chat box. Just when we're talking about participants, I just wanted to clarify that because is that a mixture of the artists themselves and the organisation and everybody that comprises that organisation as participants? Does it include audiences? Is it a combination of both? What is that sort of definition when we're thinking about participants?
Can I answer this one, Michael? Because I like this question.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. So this question is like, so the answer is the participants are really whoever are. It's completely contextual. So it depends entirely on what you're proposing. So in certain circumstances, it will be, you know, participants in the program that you're running. In other instances, if it's a more internally focused thing, it's the cultural workers who are having their capacity, you know, built through the program. So it's 100%. It's 100% contextual, and to a very large extent, it's up to the applicant to define who the participants are, and then demonstrate how those participants are going to benefit.
Okay. And can I just ask one final question? Is it about when we talk about building capacity, is it about improving the capacity of existing staff members, or does it also stretch across to engaging new key staff members?
Yeah, it can be both. I mean, it again, it sort of goes back to, you know, the issue you're trying to solve and the outcome you're trying to produce. You know, like if the answer is, you know, if there are particular, you know, if there's a particular, you know, there's a dearth of particular skills across, you know, the sector in the region, and the answer to solving that problem is to bring more people in with those skills, then, you know, that's a perfectly acceptable outcome. If it's more about, you know, retraining existing people to also have those skills, that is also, it's a strategic choice that, you know, you can make. The key thing is, you know, again, you know, what's the problem, what's the outcome, and we as the applicant have determined that this is the best solution, and that's what we want support to do.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thanks,
Thank you. Elliot, hello.
Hello, nice to meet you all. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, wonderful. I had asked the question in the chat and it was answered. Thank you very much. Is this currently running for 1 year or subsequent years? It has been answered that it's currently for this year and potentially future years pending funding. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to give the context as to why. I am the project and industry engagement lead for the proposed Oran Park Studios project, so a soundstage development that's happening in Camden Council. To the people on this call, I can see people from Fairfield, Parramatta, Out Loud, hello. Look, you're in our surrounding area. I just wanted to say that currently we are pre-Greenlight, so we're from the private sector, Greenfields Development Company specifically. This whole program is about partnerships. I love the idea that if it does run for subsequent years, and somebody on this call or people have great programs around, skills development, creative spaces, activation, etc., that's relating to screen. If it runs in a subsequent year, to write down my name and get in touch. We wouldn't be able to partner with anybody this year because our studio project is pre-Greenlight. So it's not appropriate for us to make a partnership, with regards to that. But this time next year, if it does run again, we will have a sense of whether or not our project is proceeding. And I would just say at this point, you have me as an interested party if people are cooking up great things with regards to skills development in the screen sector, and want to consider having a chat too. So please feel free to approach me about any kind of screen sector programs that might be eligible for this program, because I think it's an excellent idea from Create New South Wales and potentially something we could partner on. Just unfortunately not this year. So sorry, it's a carrot that I'm dangling for 12 months time.
Wow, that's great. Thank you, Elliot.
So sorry, it wasn't a question, Michael and Hugh, but look, just thank you for the time. I just figure I have to seize the opportunity because I don't know everybody out there who's doing all this good work. So these sessions are really invaluable for us. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Up. Would you mind putting your details in the chat, Elliot, for those that may want to reach out to you?
I certainly will.
Thank you very much. I'm looking at the time, everybody. We've got a couple of minutes to go, but I just wanted to say, I'd like to sort of wrap up now, unless anybody has got any more pressing questions.
Michael,
yeah?
I might just quickly go through the chat and see if there's any. So the decision's being made. So there's two separate answers to that. So the question is, are the decisions being made by the New South Wales Create Art Form Board? So the answer to that is no. So this program is not within the ACFP program, which is the competitive program that we run. This one, so the EOIs are being assessed by a panel of Create New South Wales staff supported by another government department programs specialist. So that's the EOIs. And then the second round, the more detailed application stage, will also include non-government external expert assessors, which we haven't identified exactly who that's going to be, but they will be independent. So that second stage has a little bit more of, I guess, what what Erin is asking, but for the EOI stage, it's a government panel. Did anyone else put any questions in the chat that weren't answered? I don't think so. Oh, sorry, Ashley, could please share if there is a link or PDF that fleshes out the assessment criteria? So the assessment criteria is what is in the guidelines. And they are broad, but that is essentially whatever's in the guidelines, that's what you'll need to go off. Do partners of the lead applicant have to be in Western Sydney? So the answer, do partners need to, or does every partner need to be located in Western Sydney? The answer is no. The lead must be, and obviously the activities have to be focused on Western Sydney and occur in Western Sydney. But no, if there is a partner outside of Western Sydney, that doesn't disadvantage you. Restrictions around music-based programs. So Are there restrictions about music-based programs? If it's moving into the realm of contemporary music, then we would probably be referring you across to Sound New South Wales. But we do recognise that there's some bleed there, and it would sort of depend on exactly what is being proposed, and we would be very happy to have a more detailed one-on-one to talk through eligibility on that front if it's necessary.
Thanks, Hugh.
Okay, I think I got everything, Michael.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Hugh. I will take this opportunity now to thank everybody for coming today and yeah, asking the questions that you needed to ask, and that's also helped us as well. It's informed us better, and also we will include your questions into our facts, and we'll also come up with some of the other things that you've suggested as well. We want to make this accessible for everybody, so thank you for all the questions that you've shared with us today. You can always, I've put in the chat there the link to the guidelines, link to the current facts that we have, which will be updated this week, hopefully, after our session here. And also you can contact us via MS Bookings as well, which I'll put in the chat as well, if you want to have a one-on-one with myself or you. So yeah, if anyone hasn't got any other questions, thanks for coming along, and we look forward to seeing your application.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.